Thank you to Darren, a member of Anthony Mundine's team. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome along here to the official press conference for the River City Rumble. It is brought to you by Oxmar Properties and it's live in Queensland and it takes place at Suncorp Stadium this Friday night. You'll see it on main event television. The first hour of the broadcast will be free on Fox Sports. Then we switch to pay-per-view via main event in pubs and clubs and homes right around the country. There are still some tickets available via Ticketek, corporate packages as well. If you'd like to make some inquiries, please do so. Otherwise, you can watch it at your home or in a pub and club right around the country. And it'll also be broadcast live into the US and elsewhere in the world via ESPN+. Thanks for joining us here. Ben Damon is my name. I'll be part of the main event broadcast this coming Friday night, and I'll start this press conference by introducing everyone who's joined us here at the front of the stage. Starting at the very far end, Tristan Hay is part of the co-promotion, as is Emad Dib. Then if you could put your hands together for a legend of Australian sport, Tony Mundine, a four-time Australian champion, a two-time Commonwealth champion, all at different weight divisions. And alongside him, his famous son and a multiple former world champion, having his 57th professional bout this Friday night. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, Anthony Mundine. If you could please welcome also the Queensland Minister for Sport, Mick de Brenny, who has joined us. And alongside him is the former WBO welterweight champion of the world with a record of 18-1-1, Jeff the Hornet Horn, ladies and gentlemen. World champion trainer Glenn Rushton sits alongside him, as well as Dean Lonergan from D&L Promotions. And our major sponsor from Oxmar Properties as well is Phil Murphy. A round of applause for everyone who's joined us, please, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'll start proceedings here by welcoming to the lectern a man who I have just introduced from D&L Promotions, the promoter and the co-promoter of this event, Dean Lonergan, ladies and gentlemen.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank our major sponsors, TEQ through the Queensland State Government. Mick, thank you very much for your support. It's been nothing short of amazing keeping this fight in Queensland. Of course, Phil Murphy from Oxmar Properties and Ladbrokes, who have been a major sponsor of ours for some time now. I think this is going to be a hell of a fight. Anthony Mundine's achieved a lot in his career as both a rugby league player and a boxer. It's quite amazing that at the age of 43 he's still doing what he's doing. But he's up against probably the best boxer of his generation and maybe of all time out of Australia. Jeff Horn's the only person in the boxing world who beat a legend like Manny Pacquiao, who was an 8-time world champion. He's the only one who's put 51,000 people through Suncorp Stadium. And I think this fight is going to be exciting for the first 5 or 6 rounds. I've got no doubts about that. Anthony's done a great job getting his weight down. Glenn and myself, particularly Glenn, wanted to have Anthony come into the weight of 71 kilos, and there was massive penalties put in place if he didn't hit that financially. And then also there's a second weigh-in that he's got to come in 2 hours before the fight at 75 kilos. We're very glad that Anthony, we didn't want to take his money in penalties, we just wanted to have him come on weight. And we understand he's going to do that, so that's fantastic. The way the fight goes, I think, is pretty simple. Jeff is just going to be too fit, too strong, too young, and his broken rhythm pressure style of fighting, you'll see in round 8, 9 or 10 what I think all Australian sports fans want to see, and that's Anthony Mundine sat on his butt. That's my lot. I leave it to the rest to have their chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. And now could I please call forward the Queensland Minister for Sport, Mick de Brenni.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Dean. Can I also acknowledge the traditional owners, the land in which we gather today, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Can I, in particular, welcome the fighters to the Hornet, the Man. Thank you for coming to Queensland. The Queensland Government is a very proud supporter of this event on Friday night. This is the biggest fight that you're going to see in Australia anywhere in 2018, and it's happening right here in Queensland. And what this fight represents to sports fans here in Queensland and across Australia is the state of origin of boxing. We've got Jeff the Hornet in the Queensland corner in maroon. We've got Anthony Mundine from New South Wales. We know who's going to take out this fight on Friday night. I know where my money is. I know where every Queenslander's money is. For those of you who are thinking about getting along to this fight on Friday night, Queenslanders don't lose at Suncorp Stadium. And so if you want to see Jeff Hornet in the form of his career take on the Man at the end of his career, get along to Suncorp Stadium this Friday night. Tickets are still available at $29. It's going to be one hell of a night. I look forward to seeing you all there. Go, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Minister. Now I'll have a chat with some of those involved in this main event on Friday night. Before all this, there'll be an outstanding undercard as well, so do get there early. The first fight actually 4:45 p.m. local time this coming Friday. You'll see one of the emerging stars of Australian boxing in Joseph Goodall in that fight as well. Then plenty of action through the course of the night, all culminating, of course, in this one, the fight we have been waiting for between Anthony the Man Mundine and Jeff the Hornet Horn. I'll have a chat with both of the trainers first of all, and I will start with World Championship winning trainer Glenn Rushton. Glenn, welcome today. We've heard some, I think that's already on, so you should be right, but we've heard some strong words already from the two who have spoken. Dean Lonergan has dubbed your man Jeff Horn maybe the greatest Australian boxer of all time. How does that sit with you?
Well, it's fine with me. You know, I've always had great belief in Jeff, and in the Olympic Games, his performance was the best from an Australian boxer in 20 years. So, you know, that's a big gap there. So he had a massive career as an amateur, 3 times Australian champion, Oceanic champion, won the gold in the Arafura Games, and fought for a medal at the Olympics. So, you know, he certainly has the pedigree there, and in the professional ranks, you know, he's had 20 fights, but all the way through from about his 6th fight on, they were just world-ranked opponent after world-ranked opponent. So he certainly hasn't done it easy. He hasn't taken the easy road. So even though he's only had 20 fights, he's up against Anthony, who's had 56 fights. You know, it may look like a big divide in experience, but Jeff is very hardened. He's travelled all over the world as an amateur. We've repeatedly gone back and forth to New Zealand to fight. We've been over to Vegas and fought. He's fought a legend here in Manny Pacquiao. So he's ready. He's experienced enough. He is ready. And this is going to be a tough fight. I know everybody's saying, you know, Jeff does this, Jeff does that. This is a tough fight. Okay, no one should underestimate the extent of this challenge. I mean, Anthony has had 56 professional fights, and only 3 times has he suffered a loss by KO. The first loss was in his 10th fight. He went over to Germany and fought a great boxer in Sven Otke. And Anthony was winning that fight. He just a little bit of inexperience, only 10 fights. He got caught late in that fight. But what a performance. I mean, Garth Woods was a bit of a shock loss, and Anthony come back and he fixed that up and he beat him in the rematch. So I think he rectified that loss. And the only genuine loss was probably Hatley. Okay, now whether Anthony was right or wrong in that fight, I don't know. So this is not an easy fight. We're not taking it easy. You know, he may be 43, but a 43-year-old that's looked after his body well for his entire life and turns up on the night, is very hungry and very determined not to let the next generation beat him, is going to be a tough opponent. We respect every single boxer that climbs through those ropes. It's a tough sport. It's an exciting sport. We're here to fill stadiums. We want this fight right here at Suncorp Stadium. Yes, it is a state of origin encounter. We think it's going to be an absolutely great fight. I think anyone who misses this fight is going to go, I should have gone. I thought, Anthony was too old or whatever. No, this is going to be a fantastic fight. We're looking forward to some fireworks, and I shouldn't mention the word fire at the moment in Queensland, but there is going to be one heck of a firestorm come Friday night at Suncorp Stadium, and we intend to win that.
Now, Glenn, obviously you train the body and the boxing skills of Jeff Horn, but as we saw most prominently in that fight against Manny Pacquiao, you also train his mind. Where has his mind been after that first loss of his professional career against Terence Crawford, and what do you do to keep his confidence at those levels that we've previously seen?
Jeff, naturally, both Jeff and I were grieving after that loss. We hate losing, and that's what makes Jeff Horn so great, is he hates to lose. And if you don't believe me, give him a game of poker, even Connect 4, I don't care. Tiddlywinks, he's got to win, okay? He has to win. He's a fiercely competitive and determined person. He really is a wolf in sheep's clothing, because you look at Jeff and he looks like he wouldn't hurt a fly, but, as Anthony will find out on Friday night, he's a true warrior. When you put him in that ring, he becomes the Hornet. And yes, there was a couple of weeks there when we were both hurting, but he's gotten over that. And when we looked at all of the things that went wrong, and it really was a series of unfortunate events, and still to get so close. I mean, there was only 1 point per round, 1 punch per round difference average over the 9 rounds, and the stoppage was unfair. So, Jeff had a lot to give in that fight, as we saw in the last 3 rounds against Manny Pacquiao. Just when you think Jeff's beaten, he ain't beaten. He's got incredible endurance and incredible will to win. So we're over all that. That's behind us. As I've often said to Jeff, if we're meant to look backwards, our eyes would be in the back of our head. We're looking forward now. We're on the road to another world title, and there's someone standing in the roadway, and that person is Anthony Mundine. Okay, so he's in our way, and it's nothing against Anthony, but he's just in our way. He has to go. We have to win this fight. It's an important fight for Jeff to win, and we have every intention of winning this fight on Friday night.
I know you're very confident you win the fight. You're very confident of a stoppage victory. What rounds does Jeff Horn win against Anthony Mundine?
Look, it's going to be a tough fight. I think this is going to be a real battle of wits in the early rounds. They'll be working each other out. There'll be a lot of jabbing and prodding and trying to get clean shots away. So it's going to be a real battle of wits, a game of chess. And I think in the early rounds, Anthony's got 56 fights of experience under his belt, and he's going to try and use every one of those. It's the old bull versus the young bull. So he'll be trying to outsmart, outwit Jeff, but Jeff's very clever. Jeff is, I've always said the ultimate thing is to put an old head on a young shoulders. People always say that, youth is wasted on the young, but Jeff has got a very old, wise head on young shoulders, his experience. So, I think he can come through those early rounds in good mettle, and then, of course, in the latter half of the fight, try to make Anthony really feel every one of his 43 years and push home, and he's got great natural endurance. Now, that being said, in the Green Mundine last fight, Anthony actually won the last half of the fight. So, he's also got good endurance. So it's going to be exciting, but we would be looking for a stoppage late in this fight, absolutely in the later stage of the fight, probably somewhere from round 8 onwards.
Okay, thank you very much, Glenn. Now I'll go to the opposite corner, and the trainer of Anthony Mundine is his legendary father, Tony. Tony, there's a microphone in front of you. Obviously, your son, as a man and as a boxer, better than anyone. Where's he at this stage, at 43 years of age? How good is the man Anthony Mundine?
Well, on?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, I really think my son he's ready to go. He's ready to on Friday night to have a good fight with Jeffrey, and he's feeling really good and trained really well for the last 8 weeks. So we really eager to go and make the Queenslanders sorry again.
Stylistically, what are you expecting from this fight? Jeff will come towards you. Does Anthony box and move, or is he happy to exchange?
Well, either way, he'll be there to jab and move and counter and all that stuff, I think it's just a matter of Jeffy making mistakes and it'll be all over.
And how proud will you be if you do get that result of your son at 43 years of age? What does it mean to you and the Mundine family?
Well, I'm not proud. I know what he's going to do. I know what he's going to do. So Jeffy's going to walk into a big bomb and then it'll be all over.
So a stoppage victory is your prediction for this fight?
Yeah, I really do, yeah. In the late 7-8 rounds down the track, he'll do his job.
Thank you very much, Tony Mundine. So the prediction from both trainers, a stoppage 7-8 or later in this fight for their man. That'll take us to one of the fighters and the former WBO welterweight champion of the world, a Brisbane hero, the man who beat Manny Pacquiao, Jeff Horn, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff, there's a microphone. You've got one. Well done. Why Anthony Mundine at this stage? Why did you agree to go in against a man 43 years of age, a former world champion, and a man who you've watched through a lot of your career? Why now? Why Anthony?
Look, Mundine is a massive draw card in Australia, and he's still got ranking points and stuff. He's ranked highly around the world as well, in the WBOs and other divisions. So if we beat Mundine, we get his ranking, and we'll go up in possibly weight divisions. And yeah, there's more opportunities for us taking on Mundine.
I've heard you say that the first time you saw Anthony in action was in that first fight against Danny Green. Who were you going for that night?
Look, I really didn't have any favourites at that point. I was kind of on the fence. I was kind of just starting to watch it.
And what have you made of what he's done through his career, and particularly his style? Have you been impressed with the boxer that Anthony has been?
Look, I have been impressed. To go from rugby league to be able to have such a good boxing style like Mundine, that counter-fighting style, it's impressive. And he's been an athlete for 25 years, he was saying. So that's an amazing feat to have as an athlete, and to be able to say you've done that, but yeah.
What about you? Where are you at in your career? 30 years of age, coming off your first loss. It was against, pound for pound, arguably the best fighter in the world. But what do you think is in the immediate future in terms of your boxing styles?
Look, I guess we'll just see what happens after this fight, what opportunities kind of arise in the heavier weight divisions, and possibly in the welterweights as well. I can always go back down.
What is your preference at this point? You're walking around with a couple more kilos of muscle at the moment. Does that feel good? Does this feel like where you want to be going forward?
Yeah, look, I feel energetic right now. I probably feel a lot better than Mundine does. I know how he would feel. I usually have to cut 4 or 5 kilos prior to my fight the day before weigh-in. So I feel good. I feel happy. Normally I'm in a real bad mood at this stage, but I feel good, and can't wait to get the fight over and done with.
We speculated ahead of your last fight that maybe Terence Crawford wouldn't be able to take his power up as he went up in weight. Are you confident that your power is going to come with you and that will be decisive on Friday?
Yeah, I think so. I've been hitting a lot harder, and Glenn has been saying it as well, and Dundee. They've both been saying that my punching power has increased with the extra weight that I've got on.
The fight against Manny Pacquiao was one of those moments in Australian sport where everyone now likes to say that they were there, even if they weren't. 51,000 were. What is the incentive for people to get around this fight on Friday night? Is it going to be one of those legendary moments, do you believe?
I think so. It's going to be a great night. There's some great fights on the undercard, and it's a very exciting fight. Mundine did say it was his last fight, but depending on what opportunities comes for him after this, but it's just going to be a massive contest, and I can't wait to see the crowd packed out there. I think the tickets are going very well, and the stadium's nearly packed out, so I can't wait to see a lot of people there, and it will remind me of that moment where I beat Manny Pacquiao.
And what have you seen in this fight? How do you think it ends? Have you envisaged the way that things transpire, or perhaps you standing up while he's not at some point?
Look, I picture both. I picture both the decision, and I picture both the knockout. So I have both dreams, so I don't know which one's going to come true, but I like listening to Glenn, and he's normally right. He's been right about my career so far with the Olympics and turning professional, becoming a world champion. And if he says I'll stop him later in the rounds, I believe that I'll stop him later in the rounds as well.
Is a points victory enough, do you think, at this stage of your career against Anthony Mundine? Or do you need to get out there, hit him hard and stop him in order to show that you are still world class?
It's enough for the victory, that's for sure. If I was to go for the points victory, that's enough to get the win, and that's the most important thing, is to get the win out there. But look, to impress the world, as I've said before, they would expect a knockout in this fight. They would look at Mundine, they don't know what he's done, they don't know what he's like, they just look at him and go, he's 43 years of age, he lost his last fight, he won his last fight, but he's lost a few fights, and they wouldn't expect him to be at my level, so they would expect a knockout victory.
Thank you very much, Jeff Horn. We look forward to seeing you at the weigh-in tomorrow and, of course, on Friday night at Suncorp Stadium. And the man that he will be taking on is a couple of places to his left. If you could put your hands together again for the man, Anthony Mundine. Well, Chock, this might be the last time that we do this, sitting up on a stage in front of a big crowd before a massive fight. Any sadness creeping in now that you think that maybe the road is about to end?
Nah, man, not really. I'm just focused on getting the victory, man. I'm not thinking about what's going to happen after. How I've said this is probably my last fight. I ain't thinking about none of that. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. And I know we ain't going to do shit. My skills are too good, man. And we're going to see. You're going to see.
Well, we've heard from a fair few, and each and every one of them has said that you're getting knocked out on Friday night. Even the minister chimed in. How do you respond to those thoughts?
Man, that's what they're supposed to think. That's what they're supposed to do. Rushton and his team, Jeff's team, done a good job. You know what I mean? Making him believe the hype. I mean, he's good at what he does, and he's effective at what he does. But there's levels to this shit, man. And he got found out against Crawford with levels. He's going to get found out again with me with levels. You feel me?
Did you see anything stylistically in that fight that Jeff had with Terence Crawford that you can pick up? Is there something in going backwards and picking him off? Do you think that's your style?
I mean, I can do anything. I mean, I've been around the block a long time. You keep talking about the age, man. I'm a different beast. I'm a different man. I'm a different 40-year-old. I ain't the average 40-year-old or 43-year-old. I'm a different beast. There's extraordinary athletes, and the athletes are extraordinary. I'm an extraordinary bracket. You know what I mean? I'm still fit. I'm still super fit. He'll be huffing and puffing by the end of the fight. Man, I don't get tired in fights. Check my resume. I don't get tired. I've been in with the bigger punches, the bigger men. I've been in with the massive Kesslers and the Siakas and guys that are 6'2", you know, weighing over 81 kilos. This kid ain't gonna beat me. I'll back him up. I'll back him up, beat his ass up. That's what I'm gonna do.
What does a win in this fight, a fairy tale victory, do for the legacy of you as an athlete, do you think, Anthony?
Well, that's what it is, man. He's trying to take my legacy. I ain't gonna let that happen. You know what I mean? He's trying to take my legacy. He's doing what he's got to do, and he's trying to just call me the dream crusher, because I'm about to crush his dream.
There'll be a big crowd there at Suncorp Stadium on Friday night. There'll be plenty watching right around the country.
They're all watching. They're all watching me, baby. I'm the show. You know what I mean? I'm the show. I'm the main attraction. He's boring. He's like watching paint dry.
Who do you think they all want to see win?
I'm the character. I'm the personality. I'm the man that transcends sport. You know what I mean? That's me.
Who does Australia want to see win this fight, Anthony?
It doesn't matter. They just want to see a great show. It doesn't matter who they're going to want to see win. It's who's going to win. Inshallah, Rab, it's going to be me.
Okay, tell us how it goes down. We hear the opening bell on Friday night. Jeff comes towards you. What happens over the next 12 rounds, 3 rounds, however many you see?
I might bull rush him. They're talking about him being a bull. Let's bang your heads. You know what I mean? Let's go. But in saying banging heads, that's what he leads a lot with his head. So we got a great referee in Phil Austin. Hopefully he can, you know, make it a fair contest. You know, he likes to lead with the head and hold. He likes to hold a lot. I don't know, we're not wrestling. We're fighting. Come on, let's fight. You want to fight, bro? Let's fight.
And finally, Anthony, why should people tune in? Why should people turn up at Suncorp? What are they going to see?
Man, they're going to see an electrifying show, you know. The best that ever done it. The best sportsman ever been come out of this country. You take a good look at my resume, all that I've done in my sport, from the juniors up. Yeah, no wonder why I played for St. George. Never before, never again. And that's what I truly believe. And you want to see the legacy of that on Friday night. You know what I mean? I'm just ready to put on a great performance and prove that out with the old generation, in with the new, baby.
Okay, thank you very much to everyone who's joined us at the front, to you ladies and gentlemen as well. We're going to face off these two fighters in front of the stage, so if everyone else could please clear the stage and Anthony and Jeff could take their positions at the front of the stage. Jeff, you might want to come this way. Do you want him in front? Do you want him in front or behind? In front. Can we get him in front, please? So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Mundine, Jeff Horn, Friday night, Suncorp Stadium, the River City Rumble, brought to you by Oxmar Properties. And it's live in Queensland. You can see it at the venue via Ticketek or watch it on main event television. Horn v Mundine, the River City Rumble at Suncorp Stadium. So, ladies and gentlemen of the media, we're going to do all-ins behind the stage if you'd like to make your way around there. And Jeff, just for the public here, what did Anthony have to say to you there?
Oh, just how good he is. He keeps talking about how good he is, how he's going to school me out there. And look, I've got to say, how you feeling? Because I'm on weight, I'm feeling good. He's the one that's kind of struggling like I normally have to do in my other fights.
All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow at the weigh-in. Have a good sleep.